Cody Alexander with MatchQuarters.com. Today we're talking about the technique that I call steering. So I've shown in a previous video about how we use our the boxing mitts to work hand placement. So we're going to focus on the corner down here, and I want you to watch his outside hand. Now when we're going to place him to read and then we're going to press, we're going to create a funnel. So I want him to come inside. So we're actually going to we're going to strike with that outside hand, and we're going to try and strike it on the breastplate. So here's a good example of it by number 1 on the bottom. So right here you can see how he's going to extend that hand, keeping his feet choppy. He's going to go slow, chop, chop, chop. The nice thing about it is he hits right on that breastplate. So he now is in control of that receiver. And once he sees that, he's going to fade off. So this is a good example of that steering technique from an outside. Right there, notice how he stays low. He hits the breastplate. If that receiver were to keep going on a vertical stem, he would be able to impede that motion and funnel everything back inside. So let's look at it again from the top. This is a good example of how steering helps you. So he sees an inside release. He's going to hit that breastplate like we talk about in that two read press. So he's going to hit that breastplate. As he falls off of him, that gets him open, and now he can see number 2. As number 2 pops out, now he can sail over the top and work on top of that. So again, going back to the beginning, hit, I see number 2. So this is a good example of when we're in 2 read, how that offhand jam, bringing that around, keeps us open. Now we are in control of number 1. We're funneling him to our help in the safety, yet we can keep our eyes on 2 as he pops out, and then now we're on top. So here's another example up top. So here we're going to place it open. Now, by doing that in this 2 read concept is usually where we end up seeing it. If we do have a hard press, and I'm going to show that here in a second from more of a quarters or a man concept, but steering really helps us. Now I hit that, he falls off, 2 goes inside. Now I know I can get in that hip pocket. So what this ends up doing out of 2 read is it gets our hips open, because now we can collect number 2 knowing that we're going to funnel it to the safety. Once we see that it's a vertical, 2 goes in. So once 2 goes inside now, and he's underneath the backer, now I know I'm locking on, and now I can get in that trail position with the hip, end up making a play on this ball. Okay, let's look up top again. We're going to be watching the same corner. He brings both of his hands. I'm not a big fan of bringing both of his hands, but he's going to bring that right hand, keep him square. He's going to pop right there on that chest plate, try and get extension. He's going to impede the moment, and notice how he's moving in. He's keeping that inside with that hand. He's bringing that inside right there. Okay, so we're looking right here. He's going to hit, and then he's going to stay with him, kind of impeding that movement. So again, there it is from more of a press alignment, pop those feet. Again, I don't like the 2 hands because it kills your feet, but he ends up overcoming that, hitting the breastplate, working him outside, funneling to the outside. So how do we work that? We work that in a daily drill like this, a daily one-on-one drill that we can do. Notice how we're going to soft press off once the receiver makes his move to the outside. We're going to attach that arm to that shoulder plate, and we're going to ride him outside, and then once we can get in phase, we're going to get in phase. So this is not just a corner technique. This is a safety technique as well. We work this speed in the face, and this is more or less how we teach catch coverage to our safeties, collision and carry. Now he needs to keep that thumb up, so he kind of has that thumb down. We don't have any power. I always tell the kids when we bench press, we're benching in that thumb, that thumbs up. We're not going thumbs down. No one, you're not bench pressing with your thumbs down, not with dumbbells. Okay, so then finally you can see this on an inside move and now an outside move. This is a great example from my sophomore safety here. He's going to hit that breastplate, stay on top, and now that route is going to compress back to the side, back to the line of scrimmage, and keep that safety on top. So that's an example of how you can use steering, which you mostly see from the corners, but now you can see this at the safety position as well, keeping that cap contained on those vertical routes and keeping good body placement. Again, I like the punch because what does it do? It brings those hips around and helps those kids transition versus verticals.